Okay, so now we're going to go into the hip flexor, the psoas major, the minor, and the iliacus. So what I'm going to show you here is the minor first. The minor is going to be most superficial. So it's going to go from the transverse process of the L1, lumbar 1, and then it's going to go down all the way down to the superior ramus of the pubic bone. And then, and consequently too, some people don't have a minor. And I'm always asked, why is that? I don't know. It's just some people don't have a psoas minor. So not everybody has it. All right. Then the major is running deep. It's going to be on the body of the lumbar vertebrae, so it's going to be from L1 through 5. And that is going to blend in, so this would be the minor, and that is going to blend in to the iliacus. So I'm just going to kind of shadow in the minor so you can kind of see the minor there. And then the major coming down, tying into the iliacus. Very strong, powerful hip flexor. So ultimately, again, it's going to go down to the lesser trochanter of the femur. Okay, so now this is a little bit more stretch for the iliopsoas hip flexor again. So I'm going to have Gina stabilize the side that I'm not stretching. I want to keep, again, the leg level. I don't want it up here. I don't want it down here. This is stretching the biarticulate rectus femoris, but it's also stretching the iliopsoas muscle. So I'm going to come back this way. My main purpose of this stretch is to extend the hip. I'm stabilizing this, so even if the leg will extend slightly, that's okay, because I'm focusing on the iliopsoas. Now, if I wanted to get rectus femoris like I did, then I'm going to keep it in a flexed position here. And I can tell this is where it stops. So it's telling me that her rectus femoris is a little bit tighter than her iliopsoas. Okay? So this is stretching iliopsoas. Stabilize the hip with the hand. This is the fulcrum again. So you're extending the hip and flexing ever so slightly the knee. Okay. Okay, so this is one of the stretches for the iliopsoas. Again, it's a hip flexor. And again, if you know the origin, insertion of the muscle and the action, typically you want to do the opposite to stretch the muscle. So it's a hip flexor, so we're going to put it in hip extension. So I'm going to stabilize her hip, and I'm going to bring her leg off of the table this way. Now, if your table is low, like mine is typically low, I'm going to have her raise. I'm just going to kick her foot up just a little bit, and I'm going to come a little bit further with this stretch here. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go into the quadratus lumborum. Quadratus lumborum is the deepest posterior muscle. In fact, every cadaver I viewed, the QL, it's always been through the abdominal cavity. It's such a deep posterior muscle. So I kind of put on, this is T12, and then the lumbar vertebrae here. And again, please understand, I'm dealing with a two-dimensional drawing on a three-dimensional canvas here. So not everything is to scale, but you're going to have, first of all, the QL coming in from L1 to the crest of the ilium, coming in this way. So it's going to be on the transverse processes of L1 through 4. Those are these fibers here. And then you're going to have from the crest to the 12th rib, the inferior border of the 12th rib. And this is one of those muscles that you'll see on your trail guide book that has two actions and two origins and two insertions. If you're hiking the hip, the origin is going to be the 12th rib and the transverse processes of the lumbar. If you're laterally flexing, bending the upper torso, now the crest is going to be the origin, with the insertion being the transverse processes in the 12th rib. So there is the QL. All right, this is a facilitated stretch for the QL. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her body, so her legs are going to be 45 degrees from the torso, okay? So now I'm going to lift the legs up in this direction. And what that's going to do, it's going to create the pelvis to elevate on the right side, stretching the left side. Okay, I'm going to stand here in the way, so you probably won't be able to see it, but there is the stretch. Now, some people will tell you that they don't feel that stretch. This is a very, for a very tight QL. They'll definitely feel that stretch. If they don't feel it there, then you can go into this next stretch, will be more advanced. So this stretch now is going to be a more advanced stretch. You can see Gina is standing now, so what I'm going to have her do is raise her arm up above her head. This one here, her left hand, is going to be on her thigh, because what I want her to think about is sliding that left hand all the way down to her knee, or as far as she can go with it. Okay, go ahead and laterally flex. There you go. Stretching the QL, erectors, all of the paraspinals. Back up. Okay. This time go again further if you can. There you go. Come back up. And one more as far as you can. Again, without straining. Again, if any of these stretches, there's any discomfort, stop the stretch. So on this side now, we're going to put in the Erector spinae. If you can remember the acronym SLI, S-L-I, then you're going to remember the spinalis, the longissimus, and the iliocostalis, SLI. And that's going to be from medial to lateral, SLI, S-L-I, spinalis, longissimus, and iliocostalis. Now, this is also in the lumbar region. The muscles are so large, it's going to go from the sacrum to the occiput, basically, and so they will subcategorize it. So this is the SLI muscles, or the spinalis lumbar, iliacus lumbar, the longissimus lumbar. So it is according to the region. It'll also go do the same thing in the thoracic and then in the cervical region as well. All right, on this side I will show you, and again, the Quadratus Lumborum, the QL is going to lie deep to the erector band. So again, here is the spinalis. Longissimus and iliocostalis flaring out. So again, they're going to lie superficial to the Quadratus Lumborum. On this side here, you can see the spinalis longissimus iliocostalis, and the same thing here, but again, it is lying deep to that posterior abdominal wall, and that's really what they act as, with your transverse abdominis coming around from the posterior side all the way out. So now we're going to stretch the erectors. Again, think of the rotation, the erectors and the action that they're going to do. They're going to assist in rotation. They are an ipsilateral contractor. So if one side contracts, it's bending to that side and rotating to that side. So what I'm going to do is the rotation, and then I'm going to have Gina flex. And this will be stretching the erector band. Now you can do this in a couple of different ways. If you use active isolated stretching, so go ahead and rotate as far as you can to this way. Boom, relax, come back to neutral, do it again, relax. So that is, again, you're contracting and you're facilitating the stretch for 2 seconds. It's really quick, active isolated stretch. Stretching it for 2 seconds, let them do the work, you just take it slightly beyond the point, okay? So now on this one, you're going to be stretching, and again, the QL is a part of this, but also think about the erector band as well. You're going to be stretching the erector band. So I'm going to have Gina raise her arm up this way, and then laterally flex her body to the opposite way. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that she's keeping her weight on both legs, okay? She's not lifting up the pelvic region. That is going to be stretching all, you're going to feel it in the lats, you're going to feel it in the erectors, but this is targeting the QL, okay?